Welcome to my video where I show you guys how I pretty much plan on doing a run in ACS, because one thing about ACS is that I strongly believe that if you're going to play the game, then you need to kind of have a plan or a direction on what you want to do as you're playing, even though how you get there doesn't matter too much, or at least if you're playing Shandao, then the way that you get there is very fluid, meaning that there are so many different ways that you can meet a goal. So I'm thinking of doing a vanilla run where I kind of just keep it like more or less basic, but I still want to make it like pretty advanced in terms of like the things that I'm able to accomplish. So right now I have this Excel sheet just because I want to be able to like map out my thoughts and create a loose plan just to show you guys kind of like what goes through my brain while I'm playing the game. So right now I'm just gonna set like a goal, or like I guess three goals. So I definitely I want to make this bigger because I think it will look good. So let me go to this. Okay, I'm gonna merge these cells just to make big titles. So the final goal would be dominate sex. Like that would be pretty much the ending goal of me doing a vanilla run. I figured that in vanilla, the sex, they don't have increased powers, so I don't think that it would be super hard to dominate the sex. So I'm trying to figure out how do I put this in a center. Okay, whatever. So I'll do kill dragon, and then probably build out build sex, dominate sex, kill dragon. Maybe not build sex, but craft artifacts. Yeah, I think that would be ideal. Let's see, where's the option here to center this? This is horizontal line. I want to, oh, that was the wrong cell. I want to center align it, but I also want it to be at the top, just so that it looks cute. This is like a way different Google Maps thing. Oh, test align middle, there we go. I had no clue that that was a thing, but apparently there's a search bar on Google Sheets now, so okay, that's perfect. So how I'm going to, so I already know how I'm going to fight the dragon. Yeah, let's make that orange. I don't know why, but I just like the color orange sometimes. So for me to kill the dragon early, I know that it's kind of impossible in vanilla, because in vanilla the dragon doesn't appear until day 80, day 300. So I'll need to start on immortal mode and then have the tribulation setting that makes the dragon appear on day 30. So that's the only exception I'm going to make, but for the most part, the gameplay is going to be vanilla. And then to kill the dragon, I have two options. I can either use Needle of Tribulation, or I can use Six Marble Sword of Tile. The dragon is a water elemental boss, so that means it's weak to earth elemental weapons or artifacts. So Six Marble Sword of Tile would be ideal. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out why this is like that. Okay, I see. So then for Needle of Tribulation, it starts off at tier 1, and you need to increase it to tier 11. Or to tier 12, sorry. So you need 11 Anguish Soul Gems or 11 Tribulation Ash to Spectre Refine the Tribulation Ash. I mean, to spectrally find the needle of tribulation. Sorry. So, with that being said, I'll need 66 anguish soul gems or tribulation ash in total. I think it's ash with the E. I don't know. And then for the marble sword of Tau, um, I forget what tier marble starts at, but I believe it might be tier 4. Let me just double check that. Search marble. Okay, so marble is tier 2. Alright, so I don't know exactly how much marble I mean how many tribulation ash I would need to upgrade this marble, but this says it's tier 2, so I'm assuming that it's going to make a tier 2 marble sword of tile, so I would probably need 10 for each sword, so 60 English gems or tribulation ash. Let's also search up tribulation ash just to make sure I'm spelling it right. Yeah, that's what it E. Okay, cool. So then with these, that means I just need to do these amount of Spectre Refines to get my artifacts ready. And Spectre Refine is something that will increase the tier of an item so that it can become an even stronger artifact all the way up to tier 11 guarantee. If you want to get a tier 12 artifact, then that's going to be like way more difficult. And as you can see, I already have this kill dragon section and the craft artifact section. So I actually need to take this and put it here. Even though this organization doesn't matter because this is what I would do more so in my head than anything, but I'm just doing it here for the demonstration. So it really doesn't like mean too much, the organization of everything. So then I'll move forward with merging these cells because I want to do another goal. Ideally, I want to learn sub-spirits. I have a pretty good idea of how sub-spirits work, but they're a very advanced part of the game that I haven't really played or tried super hard on. So this attempt would also be like one of my second or first attempt, like really trying to learn sub-spirits. So with that, I know that for sub-spirits, I need to gain a certain amount of sub-spirits, and then you can attach different manuals to equipment from the owner of the manuals to the equipment, and then give that equipment to a different disciple. And you can do the same thing with like stats. So for example, if I have a disciple and they have like artifact power, and then they have enough sub spirits to the point where they can actually take artifact power from themselves and give it to another disciple. So that's my plan because I just want to go with the artifact power because it's more simple than going with like different skills and stuff like that because then you have to go into different laws and then do all this other extra stuff that requires significantly more work for like a slightly better result. So I know that I want to use a turtle because they have to do tribulation to do subspheres, and apparently turtles are good, so I want to try that out. And then I want it to be primordial symbol law turtle for subspirits. And then I would like to do ideally 4 attainment tribulations and 4 lifespan tribulations. Because I was having a discussion with someone in Discord about this, and it seemed like something that was a good plan. So yeah, so with Primordial Spirit Law, you'll get some sub-spirits, and then you'll also get 5 from manuals that you can get from the manual pavilion if you unlock all of the laws. So I'm looking at a total of at least 23 sub-spirits, if I'm thinking about it correctly. Let me just move this over here, actually. And then to dominate sex, I will be on vanilla, so that means I can use a way bigger formation than what I usually use. I've used up to like a 6-person formation. However, I'm thinking since I'm on vanilla, I would use a formation that's like, mm, I would say maybe 8 disciples or even 10 could be good. So 8 to 10 disciples. And then obviously for my disciples, I would rather for them all to be sunflower just because I don't have to worry too much about their max chi. So I'm just thinking about this. For my formation, what do I want my pillar to be? I don't know if I want my pillar to be Nimbus because I don't want to do too much in terms of balancing out the yin and yang. So I don't know. So I'll do 8 to 10 sunflower disciples for auxiliary. And then for my formation leader, I think I'll do a 7 slaughtering sword formation pillar. And then the pillar will be either a turtle or a tiger, or even a panda or a tiger. Because pandas, they have a increased in base artifact power and an increase in base barrier power. So they get a nice offensive and defensive boost. Whereas tiger gets a better offensive boost and the turtle gets a better defensive boost. But I think I want to go with tiger because they have good artifact mastery, or even I'm not too sure. Snakes have amazing cheese sense though. So I think I'll do tiger or snake. So let me just double check this. See what a snake's origin force is. So if I go to Miracle Wiki, then I can search up every miracle in the game. A miracle is just something that a disciple can use outside of combat. So whereas spells, they will use them inside of combat. So there's this miracle called Origin Force, which every Yao Guai gets, and they get certain bonuses. So the snake one will get some okay, so they get a spell power bonus. Yeah, I wouldn't trade that for artifact power. So I think I'll just go with tiger or even a cat. Well, no, no, no. If I'm doing 7 slaughtering sword, then I would want to do a tiger, and I would do 7 slaughtering sword because 7 slaughtering sword is a extra supreme manual that will give you extra slots for artifacts, and I kind of don't really want to steal boss elixirs or anything because of the vanilla run. So I don't want to steal boss elixirs, and I don't really want to steal for materials to make Needle Tribulation. So I think I will end up going with a tiger. And then I'll have 8 to 10 sunflower disciples, and then I'll have 1 primordial symbols turtle. So then my total inner disciple setup would be like Permaslide Turtle for Sub-Spirits for Artifact Mastery. But this would have to be like a Generation 2 Disciple because I need to make them kind of strong to be able to do these tribulations. And then I would also want to do for character select, if I'm starting with Sunflower, then I can take on the perk that gives more disciples. I think I can have +2 disciples. So then that would be 5 disciples from the start. So start with 5 cats. And then I'll have to, if I start with 5 cats, then I'll have to buy 2 cat cages. And then, okay, so I wanted my formation size to be 8. So I think this works out perfect. So I'll do 7 sunflower disciples for the auxiliaries, and then 1 tiger. So that would be 8. So I'll start with 5 cats, have 2 cat cages, so that's 7 in total right there. For sunflower law match. And then I'll have a turtle, so then I'll have to also buy 1 turtle cage. and then buy one tiger cage. And then that should be my full setup for my disciples. But I also need a alchemist. So I'll need a primary assembler's law alchemist of any race. Ideally, it would be a cat, but it seems like I have cats filled up. So let me look at primordial symbol law. Mm, I don't know how this. I don't know why it's not popping up. I'll search up symbol law. There we go. Primordial symbol law. So they need perception, intelligence, and charisma. Perception, intelligence, and charisma. So then I mainly use Yaguai because they have really good stats for certain. They have really good values for certain stats. Perception, intelligence, and charisma. They don't need that much charisma either. So let's see. A bear. Okay, they have one charisma though. Yeah, see, ideally I would just use a cat. A turtle has really low charisma. Yeah, it seems like all these Yaguais have really low charisma. So I think a bear would be my best bet. Just because they have good perception and let me see. Because the intelligence, if I'm not mistaken, was high. Yeah, they need like 10 intelligence. And then like, let me see, not 10. 8, 8, 4, and 8. 8, 4, and 8. Yeah, ideally I would just get another cat. Perception, intelligence, or a panda, but I don't think it's that easy to get a panda. Well, that doesn't really matter too much because their law match would be low, and I'm just using it from alchemy, so I'll be able to get to primordial spirit stage either way. All right, so this is pretty much what my plan is looking like in terms of rough draft. So I'll have 5 cats that have sunflower law match with 2 other cats that will also have sunflower law match. Then I'll buy 1 turtle cage and then 1 tiger cage. So very early on, this is like my main goal is to have these um how many is this? 5 cats. So 8 disciples for the formation, right? And then 1 helper disciple and then another helper disciple. So I'll have 10 disciples. So very early on, I want to have 5 disciples, and then I want to be raising 3 disciples, basically. Yeah. No, I want, yeah, 5 disciples, and I want to be raising these two, and then these two. So that's 4. Yeah. So start with 5 cats, and then 4 cages, 2 cat, 1 turtle, 1 tiger, and then possibly one more cage for an alchemist, that talisman crafter. And then I also need someone who can craft artifacts too, now that I'm thinking about it. So then I need one more cage for, ideally it would be either Heaven Stealing or Grand Chariot. And I can also make my Alchemist Crafter my Sect Defender, so I think I will go with probably Grand Chariot. Yeah, because I don't think I can rely on getting Heaven Stealing Law early, so 1 cage. So then I'll just buy 1 extra tiger. And I choose Grand Chariot because Grand Chariot is a really good artifact crafting law. So yeah, this is pretty much what I'm working with. And also, I'm not sure if I want to use cats because I'll be on vanilla. So let me just go in the game and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about for this. So this is the main thing that I'm kind of scared about. So hopefully if I'm able to attach the subspheres, then maybe I'll be able to make my pillar strong enough to fight sex. But I will try it with the marble sword of Tau and then maybe the needles of tribulation later. So I'm just thinking through like what do I need to do? Alright, so usually I play in the highest difficulty, which means that the disciples will have a lower amount of stats based on this modifier called talent shortage. So pretty much when you play on that difficulty, you have to either deal with a low law match or you have to deal with using Yaguais that fit towards the law. So like cats, they're amazing for sunflower refining law because they just have high stats for that law. And they're also amazing for like emotion severing law. Tigers and bears are amazing for grand chariot law and seven slaughtering sword. How and cats, they have a really good stat spread. It's very even. So you can pretty much get 10 on all stats with cats. I'm trying to load this game up and it's taking a good amount of time. That's annoying. Alright. I'm also not trying to make this video too long because it's just me talking about my plans for the next run that I want to do and showing you guys how I plan. But yeah, when you play the game, you generally want to have this kind of thing in your mind. Like, even if you're new and starting out, like, if you just want to learn something, you don't have to start a new game. But, like, you just got to think, of, like, what's my goal and how do I get there? Obviously, I only know these things because of my experience. But like for example, if I wanted to kill a dragon, right? The first thing that I would do is go to the wiki page and look at the page for the dragon. And then after I look at the page for the dragon, I would find out that is a water monster, so I need earth artifacts. So then after that, I would go to the artifact crafting page to figure out what's the best artifact that's earth. And if you go through that page and you look in the wiki, you'll see that a lot of the best artifacts are swords of tiles. And so obviously you will want to use a marble sword tower because that page also contains the damage modifiers for each material type, and marble has the strongest damage modifier. So that will lead you to that. And then if you look into legacy artifacts, you'll see that like Needle of Tribulation is really strong. And then as far as crafting artifacts, this is just like you need to increase the tier of these artifacts to make them stronger. So you're going to need Anguish Soul Gems and Tribulation Edge. So that's pretty much like, okay, I want to kill the dragon. It's a water element, so I need earth weapons, and I need to make them into tier 11 or tier 12 artifacts. So this is what I need. And it's kind of similar with everything else that I do. But as long as you have a plan, then you can kind of just use the wiki to kind of figure out what you want to do for your plan exactly, and then figure out things as you go. Alright, so my game finally loaded up. Let me bring it over here. Let me also make sure that it's resized properly because this is not it. I think I waited too long and it was resized to the other screen, but it's whatever. Alright, whatever. I don't need to do that. Okay, so this is vanilla. It basically has no modifiers, but if you take immortal, then it will turn up all of this, which is pretty much beneficial for the user. This will just increase like the game pace, but you can also be in vanilla and increase these sliders yourself so that you can still like save and load the game. But what I need is this right here. I need this mysterious cavern early so that I can challenge the dragon early. Otherwise, it won't show up until day 300. But I would want it to show up on day 30 because I'm fine with that, and I usually play with the higher difficulty anyways. So this is the setting that I plan to play with. And besides that, this is what I'm talking about when I say it's harder in vanilla, I mean, in immortal mode to get good disciples for good laws because of this modifier right here, talent shortage. So talent shortage will drastically reduce the stats of a disciple. So I'm gonna show you guys the difference between like talent shortage and vanilla and why I'm thinking I might not need cats. Okay, so if I go into here, I'm on talent shortage, right? And then I go to first let's do humans. With talent shortage, this is the thing that shows that yeah, we're on talent shortage. And I click on sunflower law. Humans all 50% law match. There's with everything. Like you can see all of the laws up here, everything is bad. So that's just a no go. But if you go with cats, then they can have thought shards that increase law match, and then like they can get some really good law match with the earth specifically. Like, did you see that? That was just 100%. And then if you go with tigers, then they have really good law match like metal and wood. Like just look over here. Like you see this? This is 150% law match. Like so that's why I lean towards Yaguai and like tribulation mode. Or I lean towards cats because they have really good stats, bro. Like if we go back to cats, you can see like they're more or less even, and they can eventually increase their stats to all fives to the point where they can reach pretty much any law. But and but the other guys they just can't really get there. Like if I go to bear, like you just gotta play around and see like which race is good for what. So like bear, they're also good with metal and they're good with heavenstone law. That's this earth two right here. So like 99%, 132%, 50%. Like you saw that was like 140%. You don't have to pause the video to go back to that, but like just trust me on that. Like metal 170, 119. Like these are really good values for a talent shortage. So then if we go to snakes, what I want to point out is that snakes they have a really good law match to wood, right? And then if you go further and you go into the Yaguai sub races and you look at these guys' base stats, I won't say too much about it, but cats and snakes are the ones that have the most even stat spread. So if you look at cats, they're 4, 3, 6, 5, 4, and the snakes have 6, 4, 1, 5, 4. So they're kind of just lacking in charisma. However, if you look at um, snakes, they have some pretty good stats. They have like increased chi based on their race and stuff like that. So they have good chi sense. So I'm thinking if I'm not on immortal mode and I don't have talent sorters, then I can probably just use a snake and just have really high achievements. So let's go back and try that again without the modifier that reduces stats. And I'm gonna redo this all over on like the first video of the run, so you'll be able to really see what I mean by that. And if you have a game in mind, like feel free to go on Discord and I'll just like try to help you out with your plan. So like look at the stats spread for snakes now, and they have pretty good chi sense. So like 17 chi sense, and these stats are amazing. Like we could easily increase these stats to 10. This is what vanilla looks like. So the game becomes significantly more easier, especially if you're going with Jaguar. Let's see what cats look like. So cats, their stat spread looks really good too. Like they're almost reaching 10 all stats just doing nothing. However, I don't think their cheese sense can get as high as snakes. I mean, 15, that's really good too. So this is definitely something that I'll be considering when I start my run. Because like, look at these stats, like 14. Also, this is skill level, not ability level. I'm using a mod that shows the skill level of the cheese sense because the ability rating doesn't matter. So let's just go back and go to snake. Like, these guys are crushing it. So, and then if I go to sunflower, right? Because that's the law that I want to use. And then I just keep playing around to see like how easy is it for these guys to get there. It's looking like it's gonna be like really hard because they don't have good charisma. So I might have to scratch that and just stick with cats. Like and kind of like just roll for a cat with pretty good cheat sims. That would be ideal. However, I don't want to beat my back over cheat sims. Like it's not the most important thing, but what I'm saying is if you're in vanilla and you're using a law that doesn't require too much charisma, like this law, I think requires like 7 charisma, which is a pretty big amount, then you probably should pick a snake. And then besides that, you should pick a cat if you are comfortable with Yagwai. But I mean, you can also do humans too because humans aren't super horrible, but snakes and cats are in general the better ones. And then if you just play around for other ones, obviously you'll see that like a bear and a wolf, and I mean not a wolf, a bear and a tiger are better for Grand Chariot, which is this one, Legacy of Plow. So like as you can see, like law matches is consistently over 100%, 180, 190. Like why would you not pick these guys? So yeah, that's my plan. I'm thinking to go with cats definitely because I need that charisma. Or I don't need it, but it's just nice to have the charisma. And then a tiger, and then one turtle to get sub spirits, and then any disciple to craft uh what's that word? And then any disciple to be an alchemist to craft different pills if I do want to do alchemy. And then on top of that, I will also like a disciple to craft artifacts, which ideally would be a Grand Chariot disciple, since that's a class that can craft some good artifacts. So yeah, that's my plan. That's pretty much what I'm doing, and I'm gonna try to like, I guess, over explain or like be more descriptive on things since I'll be playing in vanilla. So it'll be like more like a chill run that's more informative for or more relatable at least for beginners. Even though like I'll still be doing things at a fast pace, but it won't have the restrictions that I have in Tribulation 9, where it's like if a beginner is watching my video, then they don't even know what's happening because it just looks so different from the base game. So pretty much that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm hoping that this series is way shorter than the last one, and I can just get it out pretty quickly. So yeah, that's the plan. Thank you for watching. Feel free to reach out to me in a Discord or like comment in a YouTube, like what your Discord name is or whatever, and you can like add me and ask me questions or ask questions in the Cultivation Simulator Discord, and we could try to like help you figure out what you want to do with your run and how you want to do it, basically, or the different ways that you can do it. But in general, if you're a beginner, I would say the most important thing is figuring out how to get the golden core first. And then after you get the golden core, the most important thing is figuring out how to get the primordial spirit first. And then once you figure out how to get the golden core and then primordial spirit in a reasonable amount of time, then you can set other goals like killing dragon, dominating sets, or learning sub spirit. That's something that ideally you wouldn't do until like way later. But like you can also learn like how to raise Yao Guai. The game is pretty much just a big learning and troubleshooting process, and like you can learn how to do like uh, early mini universe. I have tutorials on that, shapes of tribulation, whatever. But anyways, thank you for watching. This is just a quick planning video, something to get you guys, something to get something out there for you guys, just to let you guys know that I will be working on another series and I will be uploading again pretty soon. Thank you.